Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I'm not here with Geeky Sparkles in this video. I'm going to talk about the Mandalorian and Grogu, but it's not so much about the movie itself as it is about the drama around the movie, because this trailer dropped when Jimmy Kimmel was suspended, for all of a day, 2 days. How many days was he off the air? Like 2 days. He's back now. But the whole conversation around anything Disney shifted because of that. It's very wild to see, because I remember conservative fans boycotting Disney, boycotting Star Wars, and especially The Mandalorian after Gina Carano got fired, right? But now the media is all supporting people who are boycotting The Mandalorian or leaving comments on the trailer in support of Jimmy Kimmel. And really, though, the reactions are very, very lukewarm. And I got to tell you, the trailer just looks like another episode of the show. And I think that's what people are the takeaway is that, one, this movie, if you're going to do a theatrical Mandalorian Grogu movie, you're like 3 years, 4 years too late. And also, it just looks like a streaming show. So like Thunderbolts, and yeah, it doesn't look that great. I'm going to be honest. They really lean into Grogu and the cute factor of Grogu, but it comes across like Mac and Me. So it's just like I want to see the Mandalorian go flying off a cliff in a wheelchair. There you go. So let's talk about this before we get to it any further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Go out to news.clownfishtv.com and subscribe for notifications of when we actually post new video content. We're a couple days behind. We got to get caught up on that, but we got somebody working on it, so we will get there. So this is a very weird thing. I'm not going to play the trailer because I don't want to get dinged, but people are using the trailer to voice support for Jimmy Kimmel and slam Disney over that, and even Pedro Pascal was taking shots at Disney. I'm like, dude, you're already in enough trouble. Fantastic Four didn't do very well, and I think this thing is going to, this is my gut feeling, I think this is going to give Solo a run for its money in terms of how much money it's not going to make at the box office, because again, it looks like an episode of the streaming show, and all of the excitement around Star Wars and The Mandalorian and these Disney Plus shows, all that excitement has died off. I mean, I understand when they did this, they were probably thinking, hey, this is our best bet. Grogu's pretty popular. This is our best bet to bring Star Wars back to the big screen, but it does not look like a big screen worthy movie. Yeah, I said, I feel like people are more excited for the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith than this one. Canceling Disney Plus, this is the way. Wow, I wish I felt anything. Grogu is certainly doing a variety of things in the movie. This just looks like an episode of the show. Yeah, it's my problem. Next season on Andor, Cassian, the Emperor, is actually not the bad guy if you get to know him. We shouldn't talk so much trash about him. It really hurts his feelings. Finally, something with Pedro Pascal in it. There's been a shortage. If only Disney could be as brave as their characters. I'm really excited to see Gip Biplio and Peter Igloo in the trailer, especially since they're my comfort characters. Okay. The title card looks like an Angry Birds title animation. I don't have Disney Plus anymore. This is the way. Remember AT-ATs? Yeah. I'm sorry, AT-ATs. Are we allowed to? It doesn't matter how I say it. So I grew up in a time when AT-ATs were called AT-ATs. And now people are like, no, they're AT-ATs. Not to be confused with the ATSE and the ATST and the ATAIDS and the ATTQ plus, thing, walkers, the six-legged, what are those cockroach walkers they had? I would love it if they would take like modern Disney Star Wars characters and give them Kenner names. Can you imagine what some of these characters would be called? They literally, Grogu would just be Baby Yoda. That's it. They're just going Baby Yoda. The comments are more entertaining than the trailer itself. Don't ask questions, just consume product. Yeah, can't wait for the scene in which Din Djarin and Grogu completely surrender to the Imperial Remnant when threatened. Of all the trailers I've seen, this is one of them. I'll be sure to watch this via non-Disney means. It's so weird. It's so weird to see this because it was right-wingers, for the most part, that were boycotting Disney over Gina Carano and some of the other decisions they've made. Just pick a decision, pick a shitty decision Disney's made in the last 8 years, 10 years, and now it's cool. And are we ever gonna get an apology? No, we are never going to get an apology from Disney stans. Or, it's like, you know what, Clownfish, you guys were right. You guys were right like 10 years ago. This company has lost its way. Now Star Wars is not cool because, Jimmy Kimmel, which has nothing to do with any of this. Grogu's first line will be the way this is. You got to talk at the end of it. Is it going to be like Maggie Simpson? Is that what they're going to do? Oh, my God. So, look, it's wild to see the heel turn. We've got Kotaku. Fans are freaking out about how bad the Mandalorian and Grogu looks. Very fair. It doesn't look good. Daniel Rickman says, I don't want to sound negative, but this trailer makes the movie feel more like a filler episode of the TV show. Even visually, it doesn't look like an upgrade. That's true. I saw clips of the AT-AT battle that were leaked from Comic-Con. I think it was Comic-Con or might have been Celebration. But I'm like, yeah, this doesn't look terrible. It might be okay. And then, the more I saw that, I'm like, yeah, this just looks like the show, but not as good. So Bardo here says they had the opportunity to make a beautiful space Western set in the Star Wars universe, and they made cooked up abysmal dog shit. Movie made for the sole purpose of selling more Grogu toys. Well, good luck with that. There's a whole end cap full of Grogu toys at literally any Ollie's bargain outlet you go to. Nobody gives a shit about Baby Yoda anymore. He was popular with the Karens for about a year, and nobody cares. This person says, do you remember when The Mandalorian used to look like this? Where did we go wrong? Yeah, it looks worse than the show. This guy says, couldn't even bother to make it look like it belongs on the big screen Disney Plus at the movies. Yes. Again, see also Thunderbolts. See also Captain America 4. See also, rinse and repeat. Stuntman Mike says, there was a time when a new Star Wars trailer was an event in and of itself. You would hear the rumors swirling and the fake descriptions going around. And when it dropped, we got our first new glimpse. It was magical. That feeling is long gone. Yes, Star Wars now is yet another science fiction franchise. And it's not even like in the top 10 anymore with most people. I mean, it was very telling. We went to a toy show. We went to Toy Palooza in Pittsburgh over the weekend. And like, I remember when we first started going to Pittsburgh area toy shows, and Star Wars was a huge draw. Like, most of the Star Wars tables were just packed, and people had, tons of vintage figures and Power of the Force figures. And like, you couldn't even get into the Star Wars tables. Everybody was looking. Everybody was digging through bins of loose action figures and all that. There was none of that this year. I actually felt really bad for the vendors that were dealing mostly in Star Wars because nobody was at their tables. Now, if you had wrestling, or you had G.I. Joe classifieds, or especially if you had Transformers or any kind of Japanese toys, Pokemon stuff, like people were swarming those tables. But Star Wars was probably the least popular thing at the toy show. And there were several vendors that dealt mostly in Star Wars. And I really did kind of feel bad for them. I'm like, it's not your fault Disney killed this franchise. I just hope this wasn't your retirement plan to sell all these vintage Star Wars toys, because nobody even wants the vintage stuff now. It's so weird. We got speaking of AT-ATs, we got a walker. I don't know what they usually go for, but we got for like $40 at a flea market, and nobody cares. And it sat there forever. Like, it's in like really, really good condition too. It's sitting on my shelf. I'm looking at it and I'm like, back in the day, that would have been gone in like a nanosecond. And Disney has completely destroyed this brand. Mando's so bad, it's fast tracking sequel redemption by like 10 years. God, wouldn't that be wild though? If it was like, yeah, maybe the sequels weren't so bad after all. Brendan Hodges says this could be fun, but it really shows how much Disney have cheapened in their brand, that the first Star Wars movie in 7 years looks like a more expensive episode of a TV show in every possible way. It doesn't even look like a more expensive episode of the TV show. It looks like a filler episode. They're correct. And honestly, if you were going to do Luke Skywalker, I would have saved him for the movie. But, look what they took from us. Gorgeous cinematography, and it's just mud. I mean, it's just mud. I mean, there's nothing visually exciting about this at all. In case you think this is just an algorithmically spawned dunk fest, the vibes are similar on YouTube. This just looks like an episode of the show. It doesn't look good. And then of course, they have to bring up Jimmy Kimmel, but actually the Jimmy Kimmel thing, a whole lot of comments about Jimmy Kimmel. And Pajiba is another left-wing outlet. Can we boycott the Mando and Grogu trailer too because of Jimmy Kimmel? Well, you got Jimmy back, but you weren't going to support Star Wars anyway. Nobody is. Piles and piles and piles of Star Wars shit. It always. And good characters too, right? I mean, it wasn't just like, oh, it's all the sequel era stuff or just a bunch of Reys. I mean, there are a ton of Reys and they've been there, I swear to God, for 7 or 8 years. They were there before the pandemic, okay? There were tons of, like 2 or 3 years before the pandemic, there are piles and piles of Rey figures, and I don't think anybody's touched a single damn figure in that time, because every time I go back to certain ollies I go to look for, because every once in a while you find some really good stuff, right? When they get a new shipment in, but every time I go, it's the same damn pegs full of Reys. I'm like, this is pathetic, because I remember, like when I was a kid, by the mid 80s, for the most part, Star Wars was gone off the shelves. And they might have cleared some of it out. I think I remember KB Toys having like the 2-packs. I don't know if you remember the 2-packs of Star Wars figures. They had those and like Power of the Force with the coin. And they were selling for like $1.99 or something like that, or a buck each or something. And it's crazy now because I'm like, I could have had all the Power of the Force figures I wanted. All the Power of the Force figures I wanted with the coin. They sat there for about 6 months, like $1 or $2 each. And I didn't buy them because Star Wars wasn't cool. But I'm like, man, Stormtrooper Luke and all these crazy characters. But whatever. Anyway, Polygon has it too. Amid Jimmy Kimmel backlash, Disney's Star Wars trailer looks like a Jedi mind trick. It's not even tracking that well. It's like, I mean, look, for a Star Wars trailer, for the first new Star Wars theatrical release in, what did they say, 7 years? It's only got 3.5 million views. And how many of those views are purchased? How many are ads? Because, Disney's going to promote the hell out of it. So I don't think it's going to do well, just on any level. Superhero Hype says the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer shows Disney still doesn't get Star Wars. Yeah, I don't think it's going to go well. But remember, guys, this just shows the change, right? Because in 2017, if you said Disney doesn't understand Star Wars, you were a Nazi. Like, they literally would call you Nazis. They would call you alt-right. They call you racist. They call you homophobic. And now if you like Star Wars, you're a Nazi, you're a racist, you're homophobic, because you hate Jimmy Kimmel. I mean, it's so freaking weird. It's just really weird to see the turn in how politics just completely poisons the media narrative. I don't know. I think this one's going to be a huge disaster for Disney. I don't think it's going to do well. I'm thinking Solo levels of money, if that, because there's significantly less interest in Star Wars now since Solo. And yeah. So I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later. For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.